You ever notice how web developers have the same energy as people who do CrossFit? They'll casually mention it in every conversation, even if you just ask them what time it is. And somehow, that's what pulled me into this investigation. A very serious, highly academic investigation, which is a fancy way of saying I Googled some stuff at 2 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. Everyone talks about web development like it's this mystical art handed down by ancient laptop wizards. Meanwhile, I'm over here still pretending I know what a framework is. I've yelled about one online. I have no idea what I was talking about. Felt right at the time. And the wildest part? You can make the simplest website in history. One button, one sentence, and it will still look completely different on every device. Like the internet is pranking you personally. But apparently, people love this chaos. And once you see how deep the obsession goes, you start to understand why no one ever shuts up about it. The first time you make a button do anything, your brain basically throws a parade. It doesn't matter what the button does. It could turn blue, it could turn slightly more blue, it could break the entire page. Your brain still goes, yes, I am a powerful being. Fear me. HTML and CSS lure you in gently. They're like adult coloring books, but every time you pick the wrong shade of blue, something passive-aggressive pops up and tells you you've ruined everything. And you believe it, because you probably did. Then you try a React tutorial. The video claims it'll take 10 minutes. Technically true if you ignore the 9 hours of pausing, rewinding, Googling, crying, and questioning why anyone needs a component to render another component that only exists so a third component can crash. And once you feel that first microscopic victory, that tiny burst of, the button moved because I said so, you're done. Hooked. According to a study I fully made up, 89% of developers start coding for that feeling. The other 11% are lying to themselves. And that tiny rush is enough to transform a normal human into something else. At some point, something snaps. One day, you're a normal person who just wanted a portfolio. And the next, you're arguing about semicolons like they personally wronged you. It happens fast. Like astrology, but with more curly braces and fewer retrograde excuses. Beginners always start the same way, apologizing to their code. Every error message feels like a disappointed teacher. You write a div wrong, and suddenly you're whispering, "My bad. I'll fix it. Please don't crash again." As if the browser can hear you. As if it cares. Then comes the JavaScript phase. This is where people start pacing. Every bug becomes a spiritual crisis. You're opening and closing the same file like you're checking the fridge for new food. Spoiler, nothing changed. Not in the fridge, not in the code. But the real transformation happens when someone discovers frameworks. That's when the acronyms start. Suddenly they have opinions about folder structure. Dangerous opinions. They talk like they're managing a small nation state instead of building a to-do list app. You can tell them anything. Weather, politics, your deepest fears, and they will find a way to relate it to React or Vue or whatever they migrated to last Thursday. And once the personality locks in, there's no turning back, especially because the entire landscape shifts before they even finish a sentence. Here's a fun thought experiment. Imagine waking up every morning and learning that the entire language you speak has been replaced overnight. That's web development. The whole field hits a reset button every 14 minutes, and somehow, everyone just accepts this like it's a normal way to live. Frameworks appear the way new diet fads do. Each one promises to simplify your life while making everything significantly worse. First, there was Angular, which felt like someone tried to turn a spreadsheet into a religion. Then React showed up, smiling like the new kid in class who definitely does juvie on weekends. And Vue is basically the friendly neighbor who brings you cookies and also casually mentions that everything you built the last 2 years is obsolete. And let's talk about the moment a tiny package called LeftPad broke half the internet because one guy deleted it. A whole digital civilization brought to its knees because someone was mad online. That's when I realized programmers don't build the web. They're just hoping it doesn't collapse in the night. I'd explain more, but 3 new frameworks dropped while I was talking, and I think one of them already has a conference. With everything changing this fast, people cling to the only constant they have left, other developers. If you ever want to see chaos, kindness, and mild emotional damage living in perfect harmony, just wander into the web dev community. It's like stumbling into a secret society where everyone is exhausted, over-caffeinated, and weirdly eager to help you anyway. Stack Overflow is probably the best example. It's a place where total strangers will fix your problem for free, but do it with the energy of a disappointed parent. You post one question, and suddenly you're getting a 600-word answer, 3 code snippets, and a quiet implication that you should maybe reconsider your life choices. It's tough love, but with more semicolons. GitHub is the opposite. It looks professional on the surface, but the second you actually use it, you realize it's just a competitive sticker collection disguised as work. People aren't pushing code. They're speedrunning for green squares like they'll unlock a secret level. And then there's Reddit. If Stack Overflow is a stern teacher and GitHub is a scrapbook, Reddit is the guy at the bus stop who tells you his life story. You'll search a simple question and end up reading a post written at 3 a.m. by someone who solved your exact issue and 3 future issues you didn't even know you were destined for. And once you're in that ecosystem, surrounded by people as unhinged as you don't just code, you join a lifestyle you can't escape. There's a moment when you realize web development has rewired your brain. It usually hits you during something completely normal, like noticing a crooked picture frame and thinking, I should inspect Element, as if the wall has CSS, as if you can just nudge reality 4 pixels to the left. And once that switch flips, everything becomes a debugging exercise. I've walked out of a room, walked back in, and genuinely believed I had refreshed it, like the furniture might load differently this time. One day, I paused mid-conversation because the other person hesitated for half a second, and my first instinct was, lag. It sneaks up on you. You start narrating your life like you're checking a console log no one asked for. You'll think a dog is taking too long to respond to its name, and suddenly you're wondering if the function is firing. And the worst part? It all feels normal. Like this is just how minds work now. But once you start seeing the world as one big glitchy interface, you also start wondering, what keeps people coming back? Why the obsession sticks, why the chaos feels addictive, which brings us right to the heart of the whole thing. If you strip away the caffeine, the bragging rights, and the 1,000-yard stare developers get when someone mentions legacy code, the real reason people love web development is surprisingly simple. It gives you the illusion that you control something, anything, even if it's just a rectangle that refuses to sit where you told it to. There's something addictive about making an idea appear on a screen. Instantly, you write a few lines, hit save, and boom, there's your thought, living rent-free in the browser. Sure, half the time it's misaligned, broken, or hauntingly ugly, but it exists. You made a thing. In a world where most problems are complicated and blurry, web dev gives you neat little boxes. Well, theoretically neat. And yeah, the internet is a disaster. It's duct tape holding bubble gum holding vibes, but it's our disaster. Someone has to keep it running. Even if that someone didn't sign up for the responsibility and definitely didn't read the documentation. I get it now. I truly do. The appeal, the madness, the late night troubleshooting spiral. Speaking of spirals, I'm about 40 minutes into a React crash course at this point. I don't remember clicking it. I just woke up and it was playing. So yeah, I guess this is who I am now.